Thank you, Amanda. The man accused of threatening to shoot people and firing his gun into the air over a dispute with his neighbor is due in court in Greene County later today.
This happened last Tuesday in the village of Brooklyn. It also was the spring primary election day, so this incident triggered a large police and SWAT response.
NBC 15's Phoebe Murray joining us now live from the village of Brooklyn. And Phoebe, the man involved is facing some serious charges here.
That's right, Tim and Aaron. In an otherwise rather quiet village of Brooklyn, Tuesday's confrontation created quite a stir here in the community of just 1,500 people. And now 75-year-old Paul Douglas is facing a myriad of charges, including terrorist threats, second-degree recklessly endangering safety, disorderly conduct, and use of a dangerous weapon. And as you mentioned, it all started surrounding a tree dispute spanning two different properties. And according to the criminal complaint from Greene County, Douglas called 911, claiming someone was stealing his tree after spotting a tree removal service across from his property. And at one point in the conversation, he allegedly told the dispatcher he was going to get his gun and, quote, start shooting people, and that the responding deputy better be wearing a bulletproof vest because it's, quote, going down today. He's accused of firing a rifle in the air shortly after this call. So from here, 11:30 is that preliminary court hearing in Greene County, and then later tonight, village leaders are expected to gather here at the community building to address this incident and see where to go from here at their weekly board meeting. Live in the village of Brooklyn, Phoebe Murray, NBC 15 News.